So in today's lesson, lads, we're just going to be discussing the topic of shadowing and shading. So what is shadowing and shading? So shadowing and shading is basically just adding a definition to a 3D object that's drawn in a 2D space. So we can often draw a cone or a cuboid or anything on a 2D sheet, but we want to, if you make it more stand out and make it more defined, we add such things as shadowing and shading to make it as if light is hitting this object. So it's not just simply drawn on a sheet. We just added a bit more to make it more defined. So shadowing is just defined as the dark area or shape produced when light hits or passes around a 3D object. So, like as you said, I just gave this example here, the cone. And if you were to look at it, right, which way would you think the light is hitting this cone? So from just the think there, I said the light is obviously going to be hitting the cone where the pencil comes in here. It's going to be hitting it that way, as you get your shadow defined at the back, and you have a little bit of shading where the light doesn't hit it as much. And just simply here as well, the cuboid, the light's going to be hitting it from this face in, and we're going to have a shadow at the back of the face, or the front as we call it, but from this instance it would be the back. So I just want to quickly go through now how we would add definition to these sketches. Okay, so lads, I've got this 3D cube here in my hand that I've made, and I just want to further reinforce what I've just stated already, that about the definition. So as you say, this is the 3D cube. There's no 6 sides, and I'm going to put down in the face. So I'm going to bring in a light source that I've brought in, an exterior light source rather than the natural light. So we're going to use this as showing how you produce a shadow in real life. So we're all familiar with shadows of our own, but I just wanted to show you on a miniature scale of how shadows. So if I was to keep this fixed on the sheet, the stationary build, imagine it is like a building, and this is the sun moving up and down over the day. As you can see, the shadow is manipulating and moving so that it's the light source is moving, not the shape, and the shadow has gone from one face to the other, or it's gone, just say the light source was at the back of the building and it moves around. So the shadow itself isn't stationary, and it can manipulate in shape. It's more the building is the non-movement part. So that's how shadows are produced in the real world. And if you were to look at shading, then we would have a lot of light on this face, a lot of light on this face, some light on this face, no light on this face, and none at this face at all. So we'd have 2 faces that would be darker than the rest of the tree, and the bottom, like, we obviously don't see the bottom. But if you were to move it here, it would more like a small bit of light on this face, a lot of light on these 2 faces, a small bit of light in this one, and no light at the back. So that's why when we're drawing 3D sketches on a 2D plane, we want to define these sketches. So I just want to show you now how examples that might occur. So if you were to look at these set of pencils, they may all look the same, but they're obviously not. They range in strength of lead from top to bottom. So as you can see, I've just drawn an example sheet here of how that affects them. So as you can see, so we start at the bottom top, we'll say 5H. That's a very light tone, the lightest of them all. And as you can move down, 4H, 3H, 2H, H, HB. And as you come down to the very bottom, you come to 6B at the very bottom. Look how black that is compared to the top. So this is how you would go about adding this definition to your sketches. You use different tones of lead for the different angles the light hits the body. So if you hit, like I said earlier about the cube, if it hits light hitting straight on the front, you're obviously going to use a 5H. But if there's no light at the back, you're going to use a 4B or a 6B. So, and I want to just do one quick demonstration as how that might happen when we're doing a sketch on a sheet. Okay, so I have my sheet already set up before, but I just want to show you quickly what I'm doing. So I have a cuboid here, and I want to make this that I want to show how the shadow is got, more so than just draw a shadow. So for example, we have, like I said, for every shadow we need a light source. So up here I'm going to put my light source, and this line here will be horizon line. Now, are any of you familiar? If you're not familiar with the topic of perspective, maybe pause this video and go away and look at the perspective videos and come back. So if you're back to me now about studying perspective and you're familiar with the idea, you've already covered the points of vanishing points where the shadow disappears from your view of sight. So this normally be vanishing into a point. So this is what we're going to use as our reference, our shadow vanishing point. And that's perpendicular straight down on her horizon line from our light source. So if you're familiar with what we're going to do now, we're going to pass this vanishing point through the bottom corners, okay? Just the bottom, because that's the lines that touch the floor. So I'm going to get this line, I'm going to pass it through the corner here, right? All the way down to the bottom of the sheet. Going to do the same with this corner here. I'm just going to do the same with this corner here. These are all located on the floor, so this shadow is going to be projected on the floor. It doesn't have any depth, it's just simply lying flat on the floor. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to go back up to our light source, and as the light source is looking down at an angle, so it's looking down like this, where my arrow coming down like that. So now it's going to be hitting this corner here, isn't it? It's going to be hitting this corner here, it's going to be hitting this corner here, and this corner. But as you can see, this side is never going to produce a shadow because it's being blocked by the object itself. So I'm just going to quickly join this corner here, and I'm going to join it back here through this point. But where these 2 points meet, I get a point. And I'm going to just do the same for this corner. I'm just going to do the same for the final corner. And now I have the outline of the shadow. If you can join these two dots. So I'm going to join all these dots together again. And if you were to look at this now, you can kind of see the outline of the shadow. So in order to I have the outline, I'm going to colour it in heavier with my 6B pencil. Now, we'll just do it quickly there, and I'll come back to you when I have it done, just to show you the difference. So now I'm back. I've just added a definition to this, and I want to show you that when I've added a definition, you can clearly see now that the shadow is obviously the darkest area. It's being blocked by the light. The second darkest area would obviously be this face, as there's no light hitting this face. And then I said the second darkest area would be this face, because there's some light hitting it. It could be blocked from some corner. And obviously the lightest area should be the top and the back, but we can't see the back. So this is how you're adding definition. I use different coloured pencils. I use the 6B for this. I use the B for this. I use the 2H for this. And I use the 5H for the top. That's why I'm adding definition. That's how you add definition and shadow and shade using different pencils.